Okay, so we've got a Christmas book here called Mooseltoe by Margie Palatini, illustrated by Henry Cole. And we're going to share this book with you, and then I'm going to put it in the bag for the kids at the Candy Kitchen. For Francine, who is always quote unquote perfectly perfect, MP. To Catherine, who makes every day feel like Christmas with love, Hen. We have a moose playing the piano. 'Twas the night, or 'twas the season, and the moose was merry. He joyfully tickled the ivories with a tuneful of tidings and a flurry of fa la 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 las. He was so full of ho ho ho's, even his moustache had the holiday spirit. But the moose was more than just a bit merry and bright. He was busy, busy, busy. There was lots to be done on his list of to-dos, but with orderly organization, a bit of regimentation, lots of imagination, and just plain old moose know-how, getting ready for the big day should have been simple, easy, yes, in all probability, just perfectly perfect. He's looking at a list that he has to do, sitting in his easy chair. He wasted not one merry minute. Moose got moving and put some hustle into the holiday bustle. He went to work. He wrote his cards and letters till his hooves hurt. Check. It shows him sitting at his desk with a bunch of work. Then he's collapsed by a bunch of presents. Next page. He shopped till he dropped. Check. He hauled home boxes, bags, and presents galore. Moose had gifts for everyone stacked from ceiling to floor. Check, check, check. Then he wrapped, yo, 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 and he ribboned, ho, ho, ho. And on each of his packages he tied a big, beautiful bow. Check and double check. So far, so simple, so easy, so perfectly perfect. It shows him tying the ribbons and bows on the packages. Another look at the list, and Moose headed for the kitchen. He pulled out the pots, pans, and bowls, sifted through stacks and racks of cookbooks. He whisked with his left, spooned with his right. Moose baked from tins of cookies, check. Dozens of cakes, breads, and sweets, check, check, check. He made jellies, sticky jams. Moose roasted a goose and some chestnuts. He marshmallowed and yammed. Check, check, triple check. Yes, yes, so simple, so easily. But of course, so perfectly perfect. Shows a moose actually in the kitchen, but there's lots of cookbooks and pots and pans there. Shows him also baking his cake and lots of, looks like a feast beside him. Decorations were up next on his list of things to do and get done. So Moose decked the halls and then spruced up the walls. He beaded, bowed, and mooseltoed. He gathered garlands, roped wreaths and holly, jingled his bells, sang noels. Oh, good golly, this moose was jolly. Check, 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 check. Sounds like he's at a concert checking his microphone, just saying. Shows him walking down a bunch of stairs, and he's got some garland he's putting up. Last but not least, he hung all the stockings, each and every one, with special care, and just in time, too. Soon Santa would be there. Check and final check. Yes, sirree. Getting ready for Christmas was an absolute snap. And so simple, so easy, and he did say so himself. Moose thought totally, utterly, completely, perfectly perfect. Shows him perfectly organizing the mantle, and it's cute. Next, on the night before Christmas, Mother, little Sissy, Bucky, and Junior looked all through the house. What a job Moose had done. Everything looked bountiful, festive, quite fine indeed. There was just one minor problem, if you will. Oh, dear, sighed the missus as Five stared on the empty corner. Oh, my, oh, me, oh, gee. Pop, what happened? Cried Junior. You forgot the tree. And it shows the beautiful decorated house, but no tree. Oops, where would they hang the tinsel, string the popcorn, light the lights? Where would Santa leave his gifts for the kiddies on Christmas Eve night? So Moose pulled on his galoshes and put on his hat. He would find a tree somewhere, somehow, and that was there. That was to that. So out went the moose, braving blustery blowing winds and the cold, trudging through the snowdrifts, courageous and so bold. It shows the family and the mama watching Daddy out in the snow, and all the little hats and hanging to the side. Moose just first hoofed it down to the corner. Not a tree to be had. Then he slid around the block. Uh-oh, things were looking bad. He went down every boulevard, street, and little road. He looked down lanes and alleys. Every street had been sold. There wasn't a branch, not a twig, not even one lousy bolus bough hanging around. Nope, not a nothing, not a tree to be found. And it shows the stores having signs that say sold out of trees, fresh cut, but they're sold out trees. Even a tree lot that was sold out. No trees, sighed a sad moose as he came home empty-handed that snowy eve. It shows the moose with his mustache, and it all has snow hanging off. It's sad. The kids tried to make the best of it. They said, oh, so who needs a tree? But Moose could plainly see they were short on the glee. He knew he had to do something, and that's just what he did. In the empty corner, he stood and spread his arms out wide, and then he smiled at his children, and he winked at his bride. Kids, he declared, fetch your forgetful pop some of that tried and true family glop. And it shows a letter to Dear Santa. It says, we don't have a tree, but leave presents here. And X marks the spot where the little mooses had dropped an X on the floor. We're turning the page. So back came the kids carrying a big pot of glue. And without a word to one another, they just knew what they had to do. They each took a part, grabbing strands, taking hold, then carefully, oh so carefully, they glopped and they plopped and pasted and they pressed. They curled and they twirled with every which way a follicle could fathom, until Moose's magnificent moustache was indeed even more of a marvel to see. Shows the kids caressing and gluing and just going to town on Moose's moustache. Moose was just a few needles shy of being an evergreen tree. They strung Moose with lights from his head to his toes and draped him with tinsels beginning right at his nose. They hung balls and they were shiny, and the bells that twinkled, candy canes, berries, plums, sugar sprinkled. Then they all stood back, Junior plugged in his pop. Ooh and ah! Yes, Moose was truly one incredible sight. He was glorious, glowing, and boy, oh boy, was he ever bright. Shows him dressed up with his moustache all twirled around him like a Christmas tree, and they've got lights and ornaments and even candy canes hanging off of him. Whoops. Then Junior placed the star on top of Moose's head. He gave him a kiss and a pat, and they all headed off to bed. Except Moose, of course. He stayed in the corner, still twinkling and blinking and waiting for Santa. Oh, so it wasn't so simple. It wasn't so easy. And okay, it wasn't so perfectly perfect. But do you know what? It shows the moose staying up all lit with ornaments and lights and candy canes, presents beneath him. It was pretty close. Ho, ho, ho. And at the end, Santa pays the moose in the dark a visit. Perfectly perfect. Mooseltoe. Great book, and I hope you enjoyed my reading of it, even with my raspy old voice. Good night. God bless. I hope to see you tomorrow, and God bless each and one of you, and stay safe, stay well.